Well, well, well. Listeners, welcome to another episode of Mitch and Mike's voiceover journey. And today on the show, we have the one, the only, Nate Begle, and probably in and out of the entire episode, Nate's son, Breck.
Most likely. Asking
welcome.
for fluids and or to release fluids.
Yes.
He's going to ingest fluids, and then he's going to tell me he needs to release
Are
fluids.
you sure he's not my son?
Yes.
You got me excited, Mike. I was like, ooh, do we all get to talk like this for the rest of the pod?
I mean,
I knew he wanted to.
yeah. Breck is 22, by the way. He just, he's very needy.
He is. He is. He's a daddy's boy.
Dad? Gotta pee
Dad, I
again.
need to pee. Can you help?
Dad, how many times is it to shake it before you're playing with it?
According to the song,
I was doing my impression of you.
Daddy, what are you doing?
that's exactly what he sounds like. We'll get him on the mic later, and you'll hear this little 4-year-old go, Daddy! All right. Well, hey, Nate, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate
you guys,
being...
thank you for having me. This is it was such a delight and surprise to I love for reaching out. So I really appreciate it. And thank you for being flexible. I had to reschedule that. We had it scheduled a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you're busy.
Yeah,
boy.
doggone
Then,
it. Nate had to do this.
booked a
He had to
thing.
work.
There was
a
a
couple
thing.
of weeks ago. We had him scheduled, and he had to actually, he actually had a job. He had an audition or an actual job that he needed to do.
Can you tell us what it was?
This biz
he pushed us off.
Yeah,
to
it was
that.
a commercial. It was a commercial read, and especially in the commercial biz,
Yep.
sometimes you book it and they're like, hey, they want to do it now, or like they have thought the client wanted to do it maybe 2 days ago, but they changed it. They need to do it now. So it's a lot of that kind of situation. So I'm on a Pepsi campaign, so it was for Pepsi, and so I try to when Pepsi calls, I will.
Yeah,
you
I
jump.
will. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
So that's what that one was. So thank you for your patience and
Yeah, sure.
flexibility.
Nate's kind of a big deal. He's got
Oh
a big deal.
heavens! Oh pish posh!
I have so many questions for you.
Hogswash, they say.
Yes. Mitch,
But
would
yes,
you like
open
to
away.
start
I
with
am
a question?
a fire away gentleman. I am an proverbial open book.
I really like the way Mike starts this. I try to start it off the way Mike does. It's never as eloquent, so I'm going to let you do it. But
All right. Well, hey, as we said, the name of the podcast is Mitch and Mike's voiceover journey, and so we like to hear the journeys of our guests. We like our listeners to hear the journey of our guests, and so at some point in young Nate's life, young Nate decided he was a creative. And so why don't you put us back in the Wayback Machine and kind of tell us about the origins of how you got the itch to do something creative.
There's that itch again. That itch keeps creeping up, Mitch.
Yeah,
we all got it.
get a salve.
We got it. We
Get
got
that
it.
salve
We
for
got
it.
Salves, we got
balm.
unguents, ointments. Yes, sir.
Linctures. Is that a word?
Tinctures.
Tinctures.
So the way once upon a dreary time. Yeah. Hey guys, thank you guys. I've talked about my this before, but I have what I referred to as a light switch moment. I guess to preface this for listeners that may not be familiar with me or my work, hi guys, I'm Nate Begle.
I'm one.
And I'm a voice actor, an audio producer, and a puppeteer, and that's where the interesting part of my journey stems from. The light switch moment that I got into this business of show through the puppetry road. Yes, sir.
Can you come with me to go potty?
See, what did I say?
We knew it.
Going to happen. Hey,
Wow.
so I was saying, yeah, puppetry was my gateway into this business of show. And from, I am a child of the 1980s,
Yes.
gentlemen. And so when I was growing up, Sesame Street, obviously. Sesame Street was loomed large in my house, but also the Muppet Show, the classic Muppet Show, was still in syndication. And it, yes.
Can you come with me?
I after this is done, I promise. So I called this the light switch moment that I had, and it was around the age of 6 and 7, watching Sesame Street, watching these characters, knowing all of them, laughing, learning from them, and stuff like that. But there was this particular moment.
You're gonna get this for an entire hour, kids. and you're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so light switch moment. So I went from going going to just loving them and knowing of these characters, and there was that moment where spoilers, everyone. All right, I have to do spoilers because it's trigger warning. Trigger warning. The puppets, the characters on Sesame Street and Muppets, they're not real. What? Dun, dun, dun. And so I grasped that concept at a certain age, and instead of me going flipping a table and saying my whole life has been a lie, I was instead going, how do they do that? How do they do that? I need to know what is happening below the frame. Do you know what I mean? He's having a whole conversation. And so from that day forward, it was that light. So how do they do that? I need to know what's going on below the frame of my television. And that's the starting point. And that is how I got engulfed into this. And so, and I tell this, I coach, I am a voiceover coach, and I have been for about 15 years now. And I coach a lot of kids, a lot of youth. The going joke, and I say, now back in my day, kiddies, we didn't have a thing called the Googles or the YouTubes, right? If I wanted to learn about something, I had to go to this magical place, and it was called the library. Yeah. Library. Oh, cue angel musics and things like that, right? And it's and in this place, upon the walls, there were all these things called books. And so I checked out every book that I could about puppetry. Did you hear that? I need someone to wipe. So this is really good podcast stuff. This is really good podcast stuff. You got it. You know how to do it. We've learned this whole process. Nailed it. Excellent.
Nice.
He's doing it
Yay,
like a champ.
good job, Brett.
Well done.
Well done.
Jolly good show. Perfect wipe. Perfect form.
Now wash thy hands.
Good
Yes,
form.
and he knows there's a stool, everything to wash the hands. He's very good about that. So I checked out every book that I could about puppetry. Jim Henson had books out there, the art of puppetry, and I immersed myself in just the history of it. And the more I learned about it, the more fascinated I became. And throughout that whole process of learning the art of puppetry, the history of it, how long, puppetry is one of the oldest forms of storytelling that we have as human beings. It transcends language. It transcends before we were even speaking, right? And so of how to communicate and to tell tales, second only to, paintings on, cave paintings and stuff like that. And it's just the more I immersed myself in it, the more fascinated I became. And as I went through this journey, I learned that my proclivities lent themselves to the performative aspect of it. So as I was learning to design my own puppets, and then basically creating characters from scratch, literally physically designing them as however my, creativity was spawned at that moment, and literally designing and building and then physically manipulating these characters. And that's, it's just never, and it has since never stopped. It has been 40 years since that day, that fateful day.
This sounds...
and I spent the next 20 years of that solely focusing on puppetry.
Okay.
Literally, puppets was all my hyper focus was. And from age 7, I made a goal I had 2 goals. I was like, I'm going to work with the Muppets, and I'm going to work on Sesame Street. And I've since gotten to do both of those things times, and I still get to.
I bet that
do
made up for all the
things
times you got beat up as a kid who was.
So, right. So, funnily enough, I definitely got picked on as a kid, but I was the crack wise. I made all the bullies laugh.
That's how you do it. That's
I
how
made
you
them
combat.
laugh. Yeah. So I never was physically abused.
That's
I
good.
was never beaten up as a bully.
You never
but,
stuffed
picked
in a
on for
locker.
sure. Definitely
Right.
picked on. But I was able to give as good as I got always as a kid too.
So,
So that's really the journey. And then I focused on puppetry, and then through my journey in the puppetry realm. Where I grew up and went to school, there wasn't really a puppetry outlet, like officially, right? So it was a lot of it was self-taught, and then I ended up immersing myself in traditional theater, acting, classical theater, musical theater, etc. in my grade school time, and then cut to college, double majored in musical theater, and this new thing in the late 1900s, guys. There was this new thing called digital media. I don't know whatever came of that, but like there was this new thing.
Nobody
guys,
talks
like,
about it.
digital stuff.
Hey,
So
I'm old enough that I learned how to program in BASIC. So
I love that. Yeah, so I grew and in the digital audio and medium and radio and television sphere. So I double majored in musical theater and in digital media productions with a focus of television and radio. And I was in this really cool time of the OG radio and TV guys moving from like analog to digital. So I was learning it as these old guys were learning it begrudgingly. So it was a really cool time to like.
Did you have a leg up?
This from that, yeah, for sure. And so it kind of like I got a nice balance of the old guard and then learning the new techniques and stuff like that. And I've talked about that a little bit in regards to my audio production work, and that's a lot of what has helped me in the voiceover realm since cutting to that shift here in a little bit post college. But same thing with puppetry as well, like training with a lot of the old masters, and then being able to take these skills and utilize them in other avenues. And we're going to talk a little bit about that for sure, because I bring that up a ton in regards to voiceover and VO and present day people coming into it now in 2026. And I, started in the 1990s. But
I would love to pause you before we move.
Please.
I need to break apart the puppetry here because
Let's
we've
do it.
only
Don't
had
take
break the
apart those
puppets?
puppets.
Yeah, I don't want to break
them.
the. I just want to
They're
take them
fine.
apart and we'll sew them back
malleable.
together.
We can always sew them back up. Little super glue. It'll be fine.
We've only had one other true puppeteer, I believe, on the pod, Kara Lady. I'm not sure.
Oh,
if you...
Kara, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kara.
Yeah. Spoilers. I was Kara's very first puppet tutor.
Nice.
This makes some sense.
When she started her like desire to like do it, and bless her, she one phenomenal human being too. Just a ray of light and supremely talented.
We have to agree.
But she, like as somebody that was like, and puppets is a great example of like, this is something that I've always been interested in, and I really want to learn to do it and do it well. And so I was her first puppet tutor. I was tutoring her before she got her actual puppet.
Before Davey even existed?
I introduced
wow.
her to, I directed her to my buddy Dallin Blankenship, who built Davey for her.
Well,
Kara,
Kara, if you're listening,
I would say I was upon her when she starts her puppet journey. I was her Gandalf.
Mitch and Mike's puppet journey.
But
I did have a
Kara's
question about
people.
these
Yes, please.
puppets. Okay, so you
Please,
said you were
go
building them yourself, hand building these puppets.
Oh, yeah.
When did that start?
Someone to help.
When did it start like sewing and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah, around like 7 and 8 years old.
7 and 8. And
Wow.
as you're building these puppets, I just did socks, which I loved
Sure.
until
Yeah.
I got made
Always
fun of
where
and I
it
just
starts.
quit.
Socks are the perfect one to start. To
Yeah.
at least like add some characterization, some eyes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're building these guys. Do you have a voice and then it comes to life as you're building it? Are you getting the voice as you're putting it together, or the character, I should say, not just the voice, but is it however it happens? You're just kind of riffing and playing, and how does this
That's totally
come
riffing
about?
and playing, but you bring up a really good point. And for me, and I apply this to voiceover, and I'll say it I say the voice is the thing that is the very last thing that happens.
Yeah.
The voice comes last. Everything else gets put into place first. Like the
So it's-
personality, the backstory, I would create these deep, enriched backstories of whatever this character was. And, whatever, animal or non-specific animal or a monster or whatever, you start out with a lot of, I will. You start out, with a lot of, fur and stuff like that because it's really easy to hide your mistakes in a bunch of shaggy fur. And you can see a little bit of one of my guys hanging
A little
there.
corner back there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Corner
and
of
then
an
later
ear.
on...
Oh,
This
he's
is
going
a
to
guy
bring him
that I
out.
built when I ended up moving to New York in my puppetry. Built completely from scratch, my own pattern from hand, all hand sewn. I wanted to make us. He's a sack puppet, like a Cookie Monster or a Fozzie. He's a sack with live hands, so you can put your actual hand in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I built him. About 15 years ago. He's
Oh, my
still
God.
hanging in there, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good.
He looks great. I love this.
What's your name, buddy?
Hey.
So his name's Gregor, and he's a giant big ginger, and it makes perfect sense now because I got myself a ginger later on.
So because I had this back when there was Joanne Fabrics. You guys remember Joanne Fabrics?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think Joanne's exists anymore.
Ours closed down.
I think
Yeah,
they're
it's,
there. Yeah, there's a few of them.
bunch. Nobody was buying this orange fur, and I was like, I want it. Give it to me. Which is great because I got a bunch of this extra fur that you just he was an experiment, but he turned out really great, and I've used him for a bunch of stuff since then.
Okay. So
Super cool.
You have
That's
these
awesome.
guys.
I
You're
love
building
Gregor.
characters. You're doing this by yourself, learning from the library, which I only
Reading
go
books,
for the
yep.
free sniffs. I don't even bring a book home. But
Those scratch and sniff books.
exactly.
The
Choose-
free sniffs?
choose your
I'm
own
worried about
scent.
you.
Not choose your own
You've never
adventure.
smelled a
It's
book, Mike?
Choose your own scent.
I mean, yeah, but that's not
And it
like
smells
exclusively.
it smells like random people's food.
I picture you, Mitch, now like Gollum in the corner of one of the books. They're just going
You might be
flipping
right.
through it. Going,
I think there are videos of me doing that, so you don't even need to picture it.
There probably are, yeah, in the local Michigan police archives.
How do you find your mentors? I know what you wanted to do, and that is as a kid, that is the biggest dream. Of course, those getting to work with those people is shooting for the stars, and you did it, and that's freaking crazy. I could cry. We should all be crying right now, but.
I have cried many a time, and I don't care how old you are. The moment you set foot on a Sesame Street set, you cry.
I
You
believe
just
it.
cry.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot going on there. And,
Can't help it.
Yeah. How do you find your mentors? How do you climb? You don't have to talk obviously the whole hour about climbing the ladder of puppetry, but I'm interested
No, but
in
it's
some
very,
more of those
'cause
steps.
The puppetry and VO really go walk
Yes.
hand and arm rotted hand.
Because they're
very, very
performative,
similar.
but you don't
And-
see your face. You don't see the performer's face.
Correct. And so my transition to VO full time stemmed from me moving post-college, so like I said, finding mentors, and where I ended up, for as far as the puppetry goes, it was all very self-taught, like reading books and adding puppetry elements whenever I could when I was doing shows in high school and in college. Adding those elements when it made sense. But I really focused on, and I'm actually really grateful this ended up being my particular journey, is that puppetry was my gateway and my creative, just tangible. There's this tangible creativity to it, tactile, right? That
Yes.
there's getting and I call it working from the inside out. It's my job as a puppeteer to be, like we say, we're the soul of this character. We are truly the inner workings. We are working from the inside and then bringing that out so that the audience totally buys it. The audience believes, and I know in this little shot you can't see this guy, but my orange guy is it's my job to make you believe that thing is real. It's my job to make you believe that he's thinking and feeling and moving. And in these kind of puppets, like this puppet, you kind of see the arm there. It's my job to make you believe that he has feet, and he has no feet. And that's but when I bring him into frame and walk him in and stop and have him look around and then walk off, you immediately believe that guy just walked in. Like there was a ground there, and there's no ground. Right? With puppets. Like, the camera's 6 feet off the ground.
Right.
Right? And so I use that as a literal analogy for grounded performances, especially for us as VO, too. Like, how to establish what a grounded performance is.
You just destroyed one of my thoughts. I thought everyone was, like, under...
So in certain cases, yeah, absolutely. A puppeteer's life is not a comfortable life, and depending on the setup and I've been stuffed into couches. I've been shoved under the front of car seats to make a puppet look like he's driving a car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there are definite stuff, but like when possible, like with the Muppet Show or other things, when they're prepped for it, they raise the stage so things are built that a puppeteer can comfortably walk underneath that, and the
but
puppet
still
is up
straining
and
the
in frame.
shoulder as...
And that's a whole nother thing, learning to keep your arm up. I used to, in my Puppetry 101 classes, I go, okay, the first thing I do is like, everybody raise your hand if you're here to learn puppets. Great. Now keep your hand up until I tell you to put it down. And then I continue on with my spiel while everyone just has their hand up. And then within like a minute or two, you see people going, and I'm like, what's happening? Wait,
Yeah, I would be terrible at puppetry because I've had surgery on both
already?
shoulders, and they don't work quite as well anymore.
It's been 2 minutes.
Low. Yeah.
It's been 2 minutes and you got nothing on. And then, like, think about puppeteer has their arm up for many, many moments at a time. And then on top of that, there's any number of different sizes and weights that are placed upon you.
And you're moving.
And
it's
now
not
you're moving
static.
it. And stuff like that. Anyway. So,
Yeah,
but
give
again,
me.
and that's,
I'll be Big Bird or what was the big monster on Muppet Show?
Sweetums?
Sweetums, yes.
Yeah.
Love Sweetums. I'll be them.
Yeah, well, Big Bird's also this, Do you realize?
Oh, he's in the... Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to be Big Bird then.
Yeah, no, guess what?
No.
Big Bird is also this.
Okay.
It's not attached to somebody's
instead-
jaw.
Never mind.
He's looking down. There's a monitor, rather, on your chest, and you're looking at the camera's view. So Big Bird only sees... previously Carol Spinney, forever and ever and ever, now Matt Vogel and a few other guys that come in and do it. But you're only looking at what the actual shot, and so you're seeing, and then so Big Bird's a whole different
Never
beast
mind.
too.
I'll do marionettes. How about that?
Love it.
I can
Excellent.
do that.
Excellent.
But no,
Big
again,
marionette
but you bring up a really interesting point, like of what I'm sure you guys all know and have heard, in our realm of voiceover, where it's like, oh, it's just this. I do within puppetry all the time. Oh, it's just puppets. Super easy. I'll just put a sock on my hand. I'm a puppeteer now. Look at that. Hello, guys. How are you? Look at me. I'm so good. I was like, oh, wow. Does your puppet, like, eat their words? Yeah, it does. You're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so easy. It's just this. There's this, like, disconnect, this preconceived notion of how easy it is until one starts to pursue it. Bringing us back to Kara, like she was one of those ones. It's like, I really want to learn how to do it, right? Because
we can tell.
There's endless things of bad puppetry, and it's one of the puppets is a good thing because you can see it. Like you can tell when somebody doesn't know what they're doing when they're doing puppetry, and guess what? We can also tell when somebody doesn't know what they're doing with voiceover.
Yeah,
hear it almost instantly. But anyway, more to the genesis of that. It's like everything, backstory, history, and I was applying, like I said, my journey. I was so grateful that I studied traditional theater, traditional acting, Shakespeare, classical theater, and also musical theater, all these different forms of storytelling, and how those techniques, all the different acting techniques, and the school in my college, University of Central Florida, they really studied Meisner. Are you guys familiar with the different acting techniques? You guys talk about that on some of these other journeys.
Other people talk about it in their journeys. Yes.
I bring up Meisner a lot because Meisner is really applicable. Meisner is really applicable in bringing a puppet to life, and I personally and professionally feel that it is extremely beneficial and applicable in VO life and bringing a character to life that you cannot see. And we can get into a little bit of that and my philosophy on that and the stuff that I subscribe to. And again, I bring this up because these are things that I was like, this is what has aided me in my journey, and what I can tell you unequivocally has helped me succeed in these different realms. And a lot of it is the work that I physically invested in bringing characters to life through puppetry, and how then I was able to pretty seamlessly. Now, don't get me wrong, there was work, but I did a lot of legwork before the lane change into VO. Yes, sir.
I fixed it by myself.
Yeah, you did. Fist bump, fixing it by yourself, like a boss.
Yeah.
He goes, thanks, man. Yeah, it was. And then back to your point, Mitch, as I don't want to lose track of that thought of like, how do you find your mentors? So when I was in college, my professors in teaching me these techniques were really my go-tos, and and then reading the books and studying like that. But then when I after I graduated college, I sold my car, I sold the majority of my possessions, and I saved up enough money. I worked we were talking about this before recording. While I was in college, I was a store manager at Blockbuster. Yay, physical media. And so I saved up enough money I was like, I'm going to move to New York. That's going to be my thing, because my goal is like, that's where Sesame is, that's where Henson is. I'm going to immerse myself up there. So I gave myself 6 months to book something in New York, preferably puppetry, but I had plenty of
not
skills
a waiter. Yeah.
to do everything. Yeah, and I don't recommend this, friends. I made this solemn vow to myself, albeit ill-advised, but I was... Guys, we all remember being in our 20s, right? We all remember that.
Oh, so long ago.
Mike might not remember it, but...
I don't remember if I put underwear on today. Nope, I didn't.
You're like, nope, sure didn't. Never wore undies in my 20s. Why start now?
And
But yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna wait tables. I refuse. So I never did that, and so I saved up enough money so I could just audition for everything, and I had skills in doing on stage. So I say it's like I do and have acted as my fleshy meat sack puppet self. I don't prefer it. I say what Nate likes to do. Nate likes to live behind the mic and below the frame. That's where I prefer to be when I am. Uh-oh, Knuckles is making an appearance. Knuckles on his hoverboard.
Whoa.
You guys know Knuckles on a hoverboard? You do
Never seen him.
now. That's awesome, dude. Here, I'll be back up in just a little bit. Thanks, dude. And so I gave myself 6 months. Within the first month, I ended up booking my first show, which was a puppet show, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. And I stayed in New York for almost 18 years.
Wow.
Oh,
and it
heck
was
yeah.
through that journey then I immersed myself in the New York City puppetry scene, and one show led to the next show, which led to working with the next person, which led to working with the next person, learning from the next person, getting involved with that, and then your name gets floated around enough. It was classic this is early aughts, and we'll roll into how this works with voiceover too, because, yeah, guys, back in my day, I'll tell you about auditioning for VO stuff in New York City. Wasn't any of this home studio kerfuffle. You know what I mean? Everything was in studio. Everything was somebody knows you and recommends you for a show and has seen you do a thing. It's very much that, and that's what led me to getting into the doors at Henson and then working with those legends. Talk about a masterclass, like a pure masterclass, just being shoved under. If one is ever so lucky to be shoved under the armpit of Frank Oz, that is in
You've
itself
sniffed
a
Frank Oz's
masterclass.
deodorant?
Oh yeah, Frank Oz smells good.
That's amazing.
Frank
Oz smells
fresh,
good.
fresh scent of pine. He's a good smelling man.
Pine and old fabric.
But
well, you're an immerse
just
yourself
being-
kind of guy.
Yeah,
From
just-
this, I can tell.
Yeah.
You were born immersed. I feel like.
I was born with endless curiosity and just like, let me see, dive deeper. Oh, what did you hit? You hit
This
something.
is interesting.
Oh, look, he's sharing everything.
wow.
It
Okay,
hit my
You got
It's
to peek
like-
if you're
it's like,
watching
you
this
go
on
see in the
YouTube. You
booth.
got a peek
No.
behind
Shoot.
the scenes.
Yeah, he hit my,
Of,
my
Nate's
stream
computer.
deck. My stream deck. You guys looked at my emails. Did you see what I booked today?
Pause at
Hopefully something great.
Spoilers, I did book
32
something
minutes
today.
and 20. No, I don't know.
I did book something today that I cannot talk about, but I am very excited about.
You'll have to tell us. You'll have to update us on the next.
Off mic, I can give you a little bit of a hint. I can't really talk about it, but I can.
Just for us kids.
The Labyrinth 2. Anyway.
Electric Boogaloo. Labyrinth 2, Electric Boogaloo.
dude.
All right.
Hoggle
Let me in.
does the
It's Hoggle.
It's Hoggle.
Are they gonna?
holiday.
Are they
I
gonna?
can't do a Hoggle voice. But yeah, so I immersed myself, and just every show, every day was a learning experience. Like just soaking it all in, and it was working on Sesame Street. That one of my mentors and legends that I fully respect in this business was like, "Did you ever think about doing voice work?" And I was like, "No, puppets, man, puppets. It's all about puppets." And he goes, "You should think about that." And that was that moment. And I think I talk about this a lot, and I think it's really important that you get these moments again where somebody sees something in you and says, "You should think about this." Just that casual offhand.
Yep.
And
How
it makes
we
you
got
go,
into this.
right, and it makes
Somebody
you go,
said you'd
really?
be good at that.
And then, and I asked, I was like, really? Why do you think that I should like look at that? I've been so hyper focused on being a puppeteer and making that my life. And he's like, because what you do, what nobody sees that you do when you perform. And by this point, I had done many a character. Right, my proclivities lean in spoilers, character stuff, fun things, over the topness.
kidding.
Right? No, go on. No. Say. How dare you? And he goes, but seriously, like what you do, the work, and that I kind of talked about before. You know, when I was 8 and just designing my own character from scratch, part of that scratch was like, this is their backstory. This is their history. This is what their relationships, things like that. I would be doing that on set on Sesame. Like oftentimes, when you work in Sesame Street, especially if you're in the pool of capable hands, and on the call sheet, you'll appreciate this. We're called ass mups.
What?
Assistant Muppeteer. You're an ass mup, which means I did a lot of right-handing. Like I said, that's how I got showed. Do you know, if I say the term right-handing, do you understand what that means?
I understand what that means.
I'm
Mitch?
guessing.
Because the
can I
puppeteer
guess?
is up here with his right hand and here
Yeah.
with the other hand, and he
Right.
needs a
and
second
so
hand.
if the character needs to be a little bit more dexterous and a little bit more, especially if it's a live-handed character like a Cookie Monster or the Count, did a lot of the stuff with the Count. Yes, the majority of the puppeteers are right-handed, and so their dominant hand is inside the body and head of the puppet, and then their left hand is controlling the left hand, and then if they need to do a little bit more stuff, then they will have a right hand in there controlling the right hand. And that is an amazing experience and something that I wish more actors in general, and I refer to all of my voiceover students too as actors, voice actors, to experience that, because that is talking about taking someone's lead, right? Because as a right hand, it's my job to ride along and feed off of and just kind of anticipate what the head puppeteer is going to do and how they're going to gesture and how to keep the other hand alive but not to like steal focus, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you have to look like you're part. It's not just some weirdly attached appendage that's doing its own thing.
It's not the Idle Hands
and so,
movie.
Yeah, most of the time it's pretty subtle, and you're kind of keeping it, and it's just. But that's a learning curve. That's a really important. But once you lock into that groove, and then you work in concert with your other puppeteer, and then the longer you do it, you start to really like get each other's vibes. It's a really cool experience, but it's something that's really beneficial, I think, for actors honing the craft. Because not only because especially my proclivities lean to being big, being over the top, being the loud and proud, but that forces you to go no, easy, bring it in, you're fine. Like, you're still there. It's still alive. How you can maintain that life without it being like, look at me, I'm alive, can't you tell? there's somebody here,
Just
right?
imagine,
Yeah,
like,
all this
I wanna
hand
be
is just.
big
It's like
today.
Idle Hands, that movie Idle Hands.
That's
with
what I
Devin
was
Sawa.
thinking. That's what he
was just
Yeah.
talking about.
Or like
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's such so he said what you're doing, like that kind of work, that prep work that you're doing, is going to serve you really, really well. And like how you bring your characters to life through puppetry, that whole process that you have honed over 20 plus years will absolutely serve you very well when you pivoting over to this, because it's the same basic process. And totally blew the doors open for the next chapter of my next 20, and now I've been doing spoilers, there's more work for voice actors than there is puppeteers. So super grateful that happened. And now I've been full-time VO since 2003, so 23 years now full-time.
What's funny is I tell a lot of people they should be voice actors, only because I love it so much.
Yeah.
But no one's ever gone that far. No one went ahead and just started, taking it to the limit.
No,
so
for
I
sure.
should
And
probably
everybody-
tone
yeah.
that down a
I
little.
agree. I never want to yuck anyone's yum. I never want to have, and especially, we can talk about it a little bit during COVID, and I'm sure you guys got it a lot during COVID, right? Where my my DMs got slid into so many times. But like, how do everybody tells me I got a great voice. How do I be a voice actor, see? Can you tell me? Do I just plug in my Blue Yeti snowball and start making money from my comfort of my own closet? And I'm like, yes, go do that, please. And that's all I was
Check
like, yeah,
my emails.
absolutely.
You
You
might
got
have
it.
been. You might have been one of my first emails too. Who knows? Who knows who I emailed early on?
But yeah, again, and the ones that maintain, it's passion and it's wherewithal, but also self-awareness, knowing where your strengths lie, and then knowing, the route that you want to pursue, and then having the passion and the desire to help lead you continue on the path, especially even if it's going, because it will be fraught with adversity, I say, right? Lots of bumps in that road, but
Yes, that's a tale that we've heard many times.
Yeah, one of my early coaches, and then once I started pursuing voice acting, and again in New York, where you would coach is, guess what? Not online, not on
Right.
YouTube. There wasn't a thing yet. The internet was around in 2003, but like it was like, hey, where do I go? Who do I talk to? Well, you need to go talk to, and in New York, there was all the studios, right? And most of the recording studios, have casting directors that would host workshops. And this is stuff that you get in the paper, in the backstage, back when backstage was a paper, an actual physical paper. And classes and coachings, one-on-one coachings would be there. But it was a lot of word of mouth, too. And thankfully, I had worked my way up into working with the people at Henson, that they were able to really go like, well, this is what you want to do. This is who you should talk to and all that kind of stuff. So I
had those
got
sweet referrals from people that mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. At least guidance. One, referrals, but also like guidance, like for what you want to do. And I try to pride myself on that as being a coach as well, of like when I meet with a new voice actor to really like get to know them and see what their deal is, so I can effectively guide them into the place that I feel would benefit them the most, like the right person to talk to if they're wanting to pursue a certain genre, et cetera, right? So I was really grateful to be able to get that kind of tutelage and that like thoughtful, like, penny's worth of free advice, guidance to like go talk to this person. And so that's where I really started, and I just started hitting it. Like my puppetry, I was still getting to, I had puppetry work, which was great. And then it was allowed me to start really honing and channeling the pivot, right, of my skills really serving me well in this one particular area. And now how do I augment and add or subtract or whatever, and especially for voiceover, spoilers, guys, I'm a lot. And so, if I had $1 for every time every voiceover coach was like, Nate, it's too much. Nate, it's too much. Nate, do less. Throw it away. Like a lot of that, right? So,
But
so
that's not a bad problem to have, right? I mean, how many actors out there are coming in and trying to do I mean, we've seen it in workout, group workouts and at conferences and stuff where somebody gets up to do a character read and just kind of starts doing this and oh my,
Sure.
And, that's horrible. And
any animation voiceover director will say, like, we much prefer. We can always pull you back.
We can always
right?
dial you down.
It's a lot more difficult to go, "Oh, I just need a little bit more juice.
Yeah.
But I'm talking particularly because, so I got my first agent in New York after seeing me do like a puppet show where I played about 20 different characters in this one show, both as puppets and as humans. It was this whole crazy, if you guys are familiar with, there's a show called The 39 Steps. You familiar with The 39 Steps? It's a show based on an old Hitchcock movie, like a murder mystery on a train. But there's like the two main characters, and then there's these two guys that play everybody else. And they do like quick, like they just switch hats. Like the guys are holding like 3 different hats, and they'll put on a hat and they'll play a character, and then they'll put on another hat and play the other character in the same scene. It's kind of that vibe. Whoa. And so that's what I was doing in that show. So I'd be running around, do a quick change, turn into somebody else, come back, pop up, do another puppet character. So I was doing a ton of different characters, showcasing my range. And that's how I landed my first agent. However, again, I think this is important for people to hear, even in 2026, that back in the day, like in the early aughts, the question was asked, what do you want to do in voiceover? And I was like, well, you saw me in a puppet show playing a bunch of different characters. I'm pretty sure, like, now, like starting out, my strength leans towards animation and video games. I'm a character performer. That's really my core passion. That's where I think I would be of the most service in the voiceover realm at the outset. That's where my strength lies. And my agent goes, great, you got to go to L.A., right?
Great.
It was like, if you want to pursue animation and if you want to pursue video games, you got to get your ass out to LA because that's where it is. Again, remote stuff was few and far between. This is pre-Source Connect. This is the through the internet. There was a thing called ISDN that they were able to do from studio to studio, but it was expensive and they didn't like doing it. Right? They'd much rather it's just so much easier. I mean, look at the situation we talked about, like, hey, real quick, we need you for this thing, right? You need to be there to be able to hop in the studio and do that thing, right? And so I'm like, I'm a puppeteer in New York City living in a junior 1-bedroom in the East Village. Like, I can't move to LA. And he's like, and this is literally what he says. And, agents don't beat around the bush because there's no time for that. And he goes, but if you want to make money, you stay here in New York and you do commercial work. And he goes, but you need to work on commercial work. And that's the pivot that I'm talking about. That's where I was like, Nate, you're too much, right? I was hitting the ground and coaching intensely to crack the commercial code in New York. And it's really important to set that scene for folk, is that the way things were done was the only email that I ever got from my agent was not the script, was not much other than, hey, you have an appointment at 2 p.m. at Sound Lounge tomorrow. Confirmed, right? And that was it. And maybe I knew what the audition was for, but I never got the script ahead of time, right? That was not part of the email. It was like, hey, your appointment's at 2 o'clock. Confirmed? And that's it, right? So the way the auditioning, especially for in commercials in New York, was you show up not too early. You show about maybe 10 minutes before your call time. You sign in. They hand you a piece of paper, which is the audition copy, and you have maybe 5 minutes to look it over, mark it up, whatever you need to do, and then they're like, all right, Nate, you're up. And then you go into the booth, you record your ABCs, and you bounce. And that was it. That was how it was done. And I think it's really important for voice actors starting today to know that that's a whole different beast than what it is today, right? Because now we get an email and like everybody's from home, and people are, and this is the big thing that I talk about to my voice actors that I coach, is like they're beating it to death. You guys are beating the script to death, and how to effectively and quickly assess a copy in front of you and go into a booth and lay it down. Like where I auditioned for it, and if I booked it, it would be recorded in that same studio, right? That's how the gig was back in the day. So that was the main through line of my coaching, of how they I needed to learn how to, because I was my default was just being big. I'm on stage, enunciating to the back row, right? And so and it's just a really important visual of I have all these skills, the stuff that I'm doing is in the pocket, as it were, but it's a lot, right? And now how do I take those skills and adjust it for this particular realm, right?
Yeah, and I guess,
so that's the, Nate, you're too much, you can pull it back, that kind of thing.
I'm assuming you've perfected this, or at least to an extent, and it's something that we all struggle with, I think, and it is that we work in multiple genres, right? We're doing character auditions and character work. We're doing video game. We're doing commercial. We're doing maybe audiobook or medical narration. All these different things that require different styles of acting, of reading the copy. So you, as a person who's larger than life, how do you navigate that and put on the different? Okay, this is casual commercial Nate, and this is is it a character to you, or 100%.
Is it? So for me, everything that I do and everything that I teach is all character based. All of it. It's all storytelling. What we do is voiceover. It's all storytelling. I don't care what the copy is. And the thing that I really share and encourage my actors to start to approach things from is that it doesn't matter what the words are. It also doesn't matter about your voice. Your voice, again, we talked about this at the beginning, the voice is the last thing, right? So having actors constantly going trying to sound like something is what you're going to be giving. Now, all of a sudden, I can hear it. I can hear when somebody is trying to sound like something immediately. I can hear it when somebody is just putting on a character voice, right? I can also hear it immediately if someone's in it, if someone has connected, someone is actually telling a story, if there's some tangibility there, there's actual thought, actual emotion, actual movement that I can sense and be able to, even though I can't see you, I get what you're doing, right? We can tell that within seconds as well. And so, more to answer your question, Mike, it took me years to be able to do that. And that's the other thing. And I was like, today, there's this instant gratification culture in our culture at large. Instant gratification. Just need it. I can do it right now. Why aren't I booking immediately? I took one class. I took one workshop. Why am I not booking, right? And for me and for my money, pick a lane. I think voice actors need to pick a lane, pick a particular focus, and turn that up to 11, all the way up to 11, right? Turn that lane up to 11, and that's because this was my journey. My puppetry lane was up way beyond 11. My character work and my ability to dive insanely deeper than most people, creating things that the audience would never know. I would have when I was doing as an ass mupp, assistant Muppeteer. Sometimes I was just like a penguin in the background, right? Penguin with no name, but I gave him a name. He was Kevin, and Kevin had specific relationship statuses with all the other penguins that he's waddling around with. The shot is just that there's penguins just waddling around, interacting, just giving some life in there, and I'm now not just penguin number 5, but he's Kevin, and he is best friends with this penguin. He's got a crush on this penguin. He really doesn't like this penguin, right? There's this whole unspoken story that I'm just doing on my own, right? And I think that is where the magic lies across the board for voiceover in general. One second, buddy. And then, so picking a lane, because everybody says, I want to do it all. I can do it all. I want to do animation. I want to do video games. I want to do commercials. I want to do e-learning. I want to do medical narration. I want to do audiobooks, right? Today, everybody, and the opportunities, one second. The opportunities are available are out there, right? But jack of all trades, master of none is a age-old adage, right? But the key is what I'm not taking away. I'm not saying that you cannot do all of these different genres. What I'm encouraging my actors, especially earlier on their journeys, is to pick one to start with and turn that up to 11. And what I assure you is the skills that you are amassing in this particular focus, so we're turning this one dial up to 11, but guess what? All the other dials are also still turning up. They're also turning up, even though you're not particularly focused on this, corporate narration, right? And it is through that ability, once you really lock in and you go, boom, I've turned this one up to 11, and now I can pivot. And then when you change lanes, you're like, oh, shit, I have all these skills that I amassed by doing this, and they're so applicable here. They're so applicable in this. Maybe this, and then and that's all about coaching and learning the niches, learning the very specific aspects that are needed for a specific genre, like when it comes to a corporate narration or commercial, right? And right now the market for commercials is what, guys? Conversational, normal, natural guy, right? Guy, girl next door, whatever, right? Best friend. Non-announcery, non-salesy, right? And let me tell you, when I was starting in commercial work in the early aughts,
that's where it
was still kind of there, and then it pivoted. Then it really it was already starting to turn, though. Like the 90s were gone, where 90s was everything was buy this now, really loud and in your face. Bart's the one with bite, right? It was all like, and a lot of stuff for playfulness. But then when that started to change, and they need this more natural approach, and it's like, how do you bring conversational to this copy that is written anything but, right? And again, and that just all rolls back into what I'm saying is this practice of approaching everything from a storytelling aspect, from even a character perspective. It doesn't matter what the words are. And that's the big thing that I teach in my class, is that, like, the voice is what comes last and the words don't matter. That's what I say. It's like, it's not about, I really say, it's like voice acting. It's not about your voice and the words don't matter. And everybody looks at me like, what?
Now what?
And I'm like, no, stick with me here, right? Because from my experience and in my personal and professional opinion, it's all about the believability, and this stems from this Meisner technique. Do you guys know the Meisner quote about acting? Is anybody giving you that? This is a quote that lives in my booth. A little bit of my booth right there.
Curtis?
That lives in my booth. It's behind the mic. I look at it when I step up to the mic every single day. And it's Meisner, Sanford Meisner's beautifully simple, eloquent quote about acting. And it is acting is behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Yeah. And that is a beautiful, simplistic quote, but it is deep. It goes way deeper. But in on the surface, you're like, that's it. And that's what we do, guys. Like, it doesn't matter what the words are in front of us. What we are expressing is the story. And one of my earliest VO mentors too, because I would vacillate between when I would get the opportunity to do some Henson gigs out in LA and with the Creature Shop, then I would start like going, hey, who's out here in animation land, and start training with some coaches out there. And you guys know Mick Wingert, the great voice actor Mick Wingert?
Name sounds familiar.
He coaches as well. He's coached forever, but he famously is Jack Black's go-to voice double. So whenever it's not Jack, they get Mick, and if they can't get Mick, they get myself or a couple other guys to do. Spoilers: I do a lot of Jack Black ADR.
Wow.
I do a lot of. So I got to train with Mick, and Mick gave me. There are certain quotes that coaches and people that I've heard that just resonate, and I just let it soak in, and I use them a lot, and I bring them out a lot when I talk about this kind of stuff. Spoilers, I'm very passionate about this kind of stuff, if you guys couldn't tell. But he says, find your irreducible minimum. And that was a really powerful thing. And I say this to people like, again, when it's like, you guys, if you want to do voiceover, there's a lot easier ways to make money. I tell people that. And then just in acting in general, right? But if this is your irreducible minimum, like you will, that's that, Mitch, or you were saying, like the people that stick with it, right? Because I can't do anything else. Like it's truly my irreducible minimum. But I bring this quote up. It's very prescient because I thought for 20 plus years that my irreducible minimum was puppetry. And then it turned out that it wasn't, right? My irreducible minimum is also not voiceover because I still do puppets. What I discovered is my irreducible minimum is storytelling, is telling stories, is connecting with an audience, is connecting with a character and telling. So I go deep in, like, there's a story at hand in everything. In every commercial, there's a story. In every animation, obviously, that's the more overt one where it's very obvious that there's a story being told here. It's even scenes, written in scenes and stuff like that. But the characters within that story also have a story, right? There's stories on stories on stories, stacks on stacks of stories, you guys. And they're there to be found. And that's where the magic happens. And so that's how I've been able to apply the same kind of passion by my puppetry and in my voiceover, because it's all storytelling, all of it. And that's how I cracked my commercial code of, like, how do I, because I'm very good at playing characters, and the code that I needed to crack for me, because I couldn't do just talk normal. Just be yourself. It's just
you talking normal is very out there. So, and that's not what they're looking
so
for.
You're hitting the nail on the head, Mike. Punching tornadoes in the face, Pelletier.
Yes. It's like this is how I normally talk, and it's too much for certain things, right? So for me, my code crack was like, all right, what is the story here in this commercial, right? Who am I? It's not just like, and people have heard this, like, just pick one person. Just pick one person, and you're talking to that one person. That's all you gotta do, right? And that's how some people kind of share their information, their advice about doing conversational copy. Just pick one person, look them in the eyes, talk to them. That's all you gotta do, right? But I was like, yeah, but if me just talking to you guys like I am right now, they're like, holy shit, calm down, right? And so, for blood pressure medication, it's not necessarily. So because I am very effective at playing characters, I was able to go from scratch. Like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? That's the acting 101, the motivation. Who am I? Where am I? What's going on here, right? And the big thing that I share, the biggest thing, I'm going to give it to everyone that listened to the VO podcast. And if you guys have never heard this, I highly encourage you, regardless of whatever audition you're doing, to think in these terms. And it's something that stems from my puppetry background, and that is head, heart, and body. Before I make a sound, before I take a breath in an audition, I answer those three questions, which is head, what is my character thinking right now? And that connects to heart, what is my character feeling right now? And that connects to body, what is my character physically doing? What may they be doing? And it could be something as simple as, like, what are they doing with their hands? Are they leaning, right? If that scene, just pick one person. Where am I, though? Am I at a coffee table? Am I leaning? Am I sitting back, relaxed? Is there, just that little shift. And any one of those shifts, a shift in thought changes what comes out of your mouth. A shift in... He's got one of my hats on and a tie on and no pants. Just going to let you guys know that's what's happening here in the Begle household with a 4-year-old. It's pretty great.
Breck Begle.
Breck Begle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like, just a subtle change in thought will completely change what comes out of your mouth. Changing what you're feeling will change what comes out of your mouth, and change of your physicality, and then breaking it down in animation stuff and actual scene stuff, maybe there is an overt physical action. Is your character, like, lifting something heavy, whilst they're saying this line, right? And stuff like that. And that's how the voice comes last. Literally. It's all of this we're working from the inside out, and then I just speak, and then I literally breathe into that truthful behavior of this imaginary circumstance that I have made very real and very tangible. And if all of us as voice actors do just even that simple thing, the person at the other end of our MP3 that can't see us will get it. They will buy it within that 3 to 6 second window that I hopefully you have shared with everyone, that's the window, the amount of time that an agent, that a casting listens to anything that you share is 5 seconds.
You got to grab them immediately. What you do at the end of that take is not as important as what you do in the beginning.
Nope, exactly. Because within 5 seconds, they know one or two things. Boom, you got it. You nailed it, right? They know that you're the one that they want for it. They also, or they know they want to keep listening, right? Either way, you've grabbed them. I can tell you that I booked a recurring character on Nickelodeon on The Loud House. The show The Loud House has been running on a Nickelodeon for a long time. Hold on one second, buddy. And they were very kind enough, and I share this not as a pat on the back, but as a real-world example of what I'm just talking about, is that the words don't matter. I booked it from my slate. Just me saying my name. And this is the other thing that I say to people, and there's other coaches that go at me, but I will die upon this hill, boys. I'll be firing at all these people. Slate in character. Ladies and germs, please slate in character. I don't give a shit what it's for. I don't care if you are asked to slate in character. And by that, I mean that when you slate your name, it should be matching that first line, like your first word of the actual copy of the audition or whatever, that first moment, I call it. Now there is 6 hats on top of his head. Just come here. Show. I'm gonna.
Well, I'll tell you what. As you're bringing your son in, that we can't wait to see with 6 hats on. There it is.
Oh my
That's
gosh!
a look
I did
right there.
not expect that type of hat either.
Nate, you've probably got another 4 hours in you of
oh
just
man, I can go.
Wonderful stuff we'd love to hear.
I did a free workshop that went 7.5 hours long.
Well, we'll have to have you on again because I'd love to hear more because you're a fascinating individual.
We wrapping up? No, but ask me another question. Ask me another question. And yes, I will stop. I will stop going on the tangent.
Ask
for my voice actors, I want you guys to not think about your sound, not think about your voice, and the deeper dive of you answering your question, Mike. It's like, that's what I do. I'm like, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing right now? And then I breathe into that. And again, like, you can connect those dots and say whatever. When I said my name, just Nate Begle in the character, they were like, he knows, he's got it. That's the guy. That's our guy. I told them who that character was, and I was just saying my name. That is the power, you guys. My voiceover children. That is the power we have behind the mic. You have so much power behind this, and it's the power of storytelling. It's the power of puppetry. Like, I've seen it. I've been in puppet shows with no dialogue that have brought the house to tears. Right? That's how powerful it is. Pixar is a great example. The opening of Up shatters everyone. Yeah. The suspension of disbelief, we can go into it, right? This is all the stuff that I learned in puppetry. Like, it's so powerful that if you can tell me a story without making a sound, guess what I promise you guys can do is tell me a story with your sound. But the key is if you can do it without making a sound, that's how much more effective when you actually do make a sound will be, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine, people? Try it. I dare you. I dare you. All right.
Well, how about if right now we come up with a story to tell?
Do
you feel like acting? Mitch has looked like
after all this,
some
I'm
calamine
fired up
lotion over there. He's itching.
You feeling good? Yeah. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
People are getting excited about this kind of
Let's
shit.
get excited.
No one's
so
gonna get as excited as you, but I will guarantee I am more excited than I was.
I just love this, you guys. I love the voiceover. I love storytelling. I love all of this. I'm very passionate about it, and I just love it. It
all right,
fuels
let's pause
me.
And come up with a story and come on back and act that out for you.
Act it out.
It's happening.
back.
This is me yelling. Ah, okay.
You got to tease it, though.
Good
We are legit doing this. We didn't look at this. We got the thing up. The only thing we really looked at was the names, and we chose our names, and we're going to do this cold.
Yes.
This is going to be
Completely
instant
cold read.
theater.
And we'll let you know that basically we are three wizards meeting in a tavern for a monthly meeting. So that's all we're going to give you right now.
I think people will be hard-pressed to argue, right?
With that.
Are you going to sound design this? Are you going to sound design this? Like,
Not even.
Put it
heck
in
no.
here.
No, this is raw. We're pretty much going to record this and then
is
post
just
it.
as
Yeah.
be great.
I feel like we need to like cut to a dramatic reenactment, like a D&D campaign. Is like
Well,
what's
if
gonna
this turns
happen.
out well,
That'd be
we'll
awesome.
look into.
If we had your
we'll
budget,
start
Nate,
pitching
yeah.
it to animators. How's that sound?
We'll animate it. Perfect. Love it. This will be the pitch. Love it. All right.
Well, boys, I'll begin. As the most accomplished among us, yesterday I successfully cursed a loaf of bread.
A loaf?
Whole grain.
That's ambitious. Seeds are notoriously resistant.
Thank you. The baker sliced it, and every piece tasted mildly discouraged.
Oh,
Discouraged?
Yes, people reported feeling like their afternoon plans might not work out.
Oh, that's powerful magic. Emotional gluten.
Oh, please. I turned an entire pond invisible.
Invisible?
Completely.
Well, where is it?
It's still there.
So do people fall in?
No. I put up a sign.
What does it say?
It says, probably a pond.
Probably.
I like to keep the mystery alive.
That's irresponsible, to say the least.
No. It's art.
Well. I once made a chair slightly judgmental.
Toward whom?
Well, anyone who sits in it, it creaks disapprovingly.
But chairs already do that.
No, not like this. This one implies you could be doing more with your life.
Well, I've been working on summoning.
Oh, here we go.
Well, what did you summon? A demon? A spirit?
No. A damp sock.
From where?
Unclear.
My dear boy, that's not summoning. That's laundry misfortune.
It appeared in a puff of smoke.
Was it your sock?
I don't own striped hosiery.
Oh, intriguing.
I'm attempting a second sock to complete the pair.
Aim higher, Merkel. Summon a wolf or a storm or something.
I did summon a storm once.
Oh, finally!
It rained exclusively on me.
For how long?
3 days.
Consistent, at least.
Well, my latest spell allows me to communicate with crows.
Very impressive.
Well, what do they say?
Mostly they complain a lot.
About
I hear them now. I hear them complaining now.
it's like children again.
Not many people know crows sound like toddlers.
What do these crows complain about?
Yes.
Mostly me.
Fair.
They say I don't know, I lack presence.
Crows are harsh critics.
You know, I enchanted a mirror to show one's true self.
And?
It just shows me, only slightly blurrier.
That might be accurate.
Well, my greatest feat. I once levitated a boulder.
Oh! Now we're talking!
For half a second.
How high?
Emotionally? Very.
Physically?
It considered rising.
I turned myself invisible once.
Finally, something useful.
Unfortunately, only to myself.
So you could still be seen by others?
Yes, but I kept bumping into things because I wasn't sure where I was, and the other thing wasn't.
Well, that's deeply confusing magic.
I brewed a potion of immense strength.
What did it do?
It made me confident enough to open a jar. By myself, I'll have you
That's
know.
nothing.
What was in the jar? What was in the jar?
Come closer, come closer, come closer. What?
What is it?
Another smaller jar.
Layers of hubris.
Well, I cursed a man to forget why he entered rooms. He forgot why, damn you.
That's diabolical.
It worked on me instead.
How often?
I don't recall.
Of course he did.
Well, gentlemen, despite our unique talents,
Yes.
we are practitioners of the arcane.
Feared across the lands.
Whispered about in at least one village.
Yet when we gather here monthly to celebrate our triumphs,
However small they may be.
However, damn.
yes, raise your goblets, gentlemen, raise your goblets. And to remind ourselves,
We are the best.
At what we do.
even if what we do is
Slightly inconvenient magic.
Mildly upsetting bread.
judgmental furniture,
Probable pawns.
And the occasional sock.
to another month of greatness, lads.
Here, here.
Does anyone know how to uncursedly dry fabric?
No.
Absolutely not.
Wonderful, I shall preserve it in dampness then.
As us old great wizards do.
And scene.
squish
There
away.
you go.
Very
That was
nice.
fun.
Very
I
nice.
have to say that was our
Well
best
done.
dry run, you guys.
I chose a lisp and I immediately
It was in and out.
immediately thought that was a horrible
You
choice.
immediately regretted it.
I'm like, oh no. I
Yeah,
have to
I
keep
mean,
this up.
you make up a really good point, right? It's like you make a choice and then you go, oh, if I don't know if I can sustain that
Yeah.
for a whole thing, yowzers. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I thought that was fun. No, that was
Yeah.
great. That was
fun.
super fun, guys.
All right.
When
well,
I hear
hey, Breck,
Nate's accent, I
Breck, should we
Hey,
give your
Breck.
father back to
Oh.
you for the evening, sir?
He's like, I don't know if you heard that crow. He's like, I really need you to be done.
I really want you to be done, Daddy.
Okay, Dad,
Yeah.
we're about to be done.
All right, Breck, we'll give your daddy back to you. Yeah.
We'll make awkward goodbyes.
Awkward
More
goodbyes.
Breck, he's like,
awkward.
Brett, can you say goodbye, everybody? Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for putting up with a little bit of the chaos.
Yeah, chaos
And,
we love.
This was super
love
fun,
chaos.
and happy to come back anytime. Let's do it. Let's schedule it again
There it
soon.
is. Let's
I need
schedule
to.
it.
I need to run neck and neck with Master Powers.
Yes.
Master Powers.
All right, bye, y'all.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye,